The Colorado sunset spilled gold and amber across the manicured lawns of Willow Creek, an upscale enclave where the air smelled of pine and privy leg. My daughter, Lily, and I had only been here 3 weeks, fresh from Chicago after I landed a senior role at VYCing on global health policy for the Department of Health and Human Services VYCES. I'm Dr. Vanessa Carter, a single mom who's stared down epidemics and brief presidents, but nothing prepared me for the firestorm that erupted at a community gala when a self-entitled HOA queen smashed my disabled daughter's lifeline to pieces. Lily, my 15-year-old, is a warrior. Cystic fibrosis clogs her lungs with mucus, making every breath a battle. Yet she navigates it with a scientist's precision and a teenager's sass. That night, as we dressed for the Willow Creek Charity Gala, I watched her check her makeup in the bathroom mirror, her phone buzzing with the app that tracks her oxygen levels and lung function. "How's your breathing, sweetheart?" I asked, smoothing her emerald dress. 95%, Mom, she said, glancing at the screen. Dr. Nguyen tweaked my meds, and they're holding. I nodded, pride and worry tangling in my chest. Lily's dad lost his fight with CF when she was 6, his lungs collapsing under pneumonia. I couldn't outsmart, even with my epidemiology PhD. Her phone wasn't just a gadget, it was her anchor, her way to stay ahead of a disease that doesn't negotiate. The gala was held at the community clubhouse, a Mediterranean-style building glowing with candlelight and draped in roses. A string quartet hummed as caterers wove through the crowd with champagne. We'd barely stepped inside when Senator Laura Mitchell, our next-door neighbor, greeted us warmly. "Vanessa, Lily, you made it," she said, her smile genuine. She winked at Lily. "I hear you're a science star." Lily blushed. "I'm in a gene therapy for CF. Won a state science fair back in Illinois." I chimed in. She's modest. Her CRISPR proposal was brilliant. Laura's eyes lit up. "My committee funds medical research. Let's talk soon." The mood shifted when a sharp voice sliced through the chatter. "Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please." A woman in her 50s with a sleek auburn bob and a designer gown took the stage. Laura leaned in. "That's Margaret Langley, HOA VYC president. Owns a chain of boutique hotels." Margaret's smile was polished but cold. "Welcome to Willow Creek's Charity Gala. I'm your hostess, and a reminder, this is a phone-free event." She pointed to signs reading "Soft Phone-Free Zone. Be Present SAW. Power down your VYCES and connect with your neighbors. Violators will be reminded of our policy." Her tone promised no mercy. Lily stiffened beside me. Her app needed regular check-in altitude, and air quality here could mess with her lungs. "It's fine," I whispered. "Medical needs are exempt. Just keep it low-key." For an hour, we mingled, meeting doctors, lawyers, and executives drawn to Willow Creek's exclusive VY. Most were friendly, though my government job raised a few eyebrows. Then I saw Lily slip to a quiet corner, her subtle movements signaling she was checking her metrics. I was mid-conversation with a cardiologist when Margaret materialized beside her, her posture radiating disapproval. I excused myself, we VYing through the crowd as Margaret's voice sharpened. "Young lady, this is a phone-free event. Didn't you hear?" Lily, startled, stammered. "I'm sorry, I need to check my—" Margaret cut her off. "I don't care what you're checking. Rules are rules, especially for teens glued to screens." I stepped in, voice calm but firm. "Mrs. Langley, my daughter has cystic fibrosis. Her phone monitors her health oxygen levels, lung function. It's a medical necessity." Margaret's eyes narrowed, dripping skepticism. "A medical necessity?" I've heard every excuse from kids addicted to their phones. "It's not an excuse," I said, holding my ground. "Her app tracks data to keep her stable, especially at this altitude." Margaret's voice turned icy. If her condition's so serious, maybe she shouldn't be at a social event. Rules protect everyone. Lily's cheeks burned as heads turned, conversation stalling. "Mom, I'll check later," she murmured, but I shook my head. "No, sweetheart, this isn't okay." To Margaret, I said, "The Americans with Disabilities Act requires accommodations for medical needs. This is reasonable." Margaret's eyes flashed with defiance. I don't care about your regulations, Dr. Carter. This is private property, and you agreed to our HOA rules. She stepped closer to Lily. Put away now. Lily glanced at her screen, voice trembling. My oxygen's down 2 points. I need my inhaler before I could react. Margaret's hand shot out, snatching the phone. This is why we have policies, she snapped. I lunged forward. Give that back. But Margaret held it high, her face twisted with righteous fury. Rules are followed, not negotiated. I don't care about your condition. Then, in a gut punch moment, she dropped the phone to the marble floor and crushed it under her heel with a sickening crunch. The room froze. Lily gasped, tears spilling not just for the shattered iPhone, but for the loss of her lifeline, the data that kept her tethered to safety. Margaret smirked. Now, perhaps we can enjoy our evening without distractions. Claiming special needs for attention doesn't fly here. My VY sound tunneled, rage coursing through me. I'd faced war zones and outbreaks, but this was personal. Senator Mitchell, watching in horror, stepped forward as Margaret called out, Laura, don't you agree our policy benefits everyone? Dr. Carter thinks her daughter's above the rules. Laura's voice was steel. What I saw wasn't policy enforcement, Margaret. It was property destruction and discrimination. Margaret scoffed. Discrimination? She looks fine. This is entitlement. I knelt, hands shaking, to pick up the broken phone. The case had saved some parts, but the screen was a spiderweb of cracks, useless. Lily, I said softly, go to the restroom. Use your emergency inhaler. We're Leah VYing. Lily nodded, her breathing shallow, distress tightening her chested, dangerous sign with CF. As she walked away, I faced Margaret, voice low. You destroyed medical equipment containing protected health data and research protocols. That's not just cruel, it's illegal. Margaret waved it off. It's a phone. If it was so vital, you should have submitted a medical exemption in writing. Guests murmured, some clearly uneasy with her actions. I expect compensation and an apology to my daughter, I said. Margaret's laugh was sharp. For enforcing rules? Dream on. Laura stepped in. Margaret, this could violate multiple laws. Your hotels rely on state permits my committee oversees. Rethink your stance. Margaret's confidence cracked, but she doubled down. Fine. Submit a receipt, and we'll consider reimbursement if it's a legitimate to VYC. But the policy stands. She stormed off, barking orders at staff like nothing happened. I found Lily in the restroom, eyes red but composed. Oxygen's at 93, she said. I'm okay. I hugged her. I'm so sorry, sweetheart. This isn't your fault. She nodded, resilient as ever. My data, my appointments, the trial info, it's all on that phone. We'll get a new one tomorrow, I promised. And we're fixing this properly. In the parking lot, Laura caught us. Vanessa, that was unacceptable. Margaret's been a bully for years, but this crosses every line. There's an HOA meeting next Thursday. Let's make her answer for this. I nodded, a plan forming. We'll be there. Lily's question on the drive home broke my heart. Mom, do we have to move again? We'd relocated 3 times in 5 years for my career, each move disrupting her care. I'd chosen Willow Creek for its proximity to a top CF center and clean air. No, I said firmly. We're staying. Sometimes you change the place around you. She smirked. You're going full government mode on her, huh? I grinned. Let's just say Margaret picked the wrong mom to mess with. The next week was a whirlwind. I got Lily a new phone, restoring her app from the cloud. I called Dr. Nguyen, her pulmonologist, who was Lee VYD and promised medical documentation for the HOA meeting. A DOJ colleague confirmed the ADA violation, offering legal guidance. My department's counsel flagged HIPAA and research data issues. By Thursday, I had a powerhouse team. Dr. Nguyen with Lily's medical file, Laura with her disability policy aid, and me with a presentation to bury Margaret's excuses. The HOA meeting packed the clubhouse, tension thick as residents filled the chairs. Margaret sat near the board, smug with a stack of papers. The president, George Ramsey, opened the floor. Margaret jumped in. If this is about the phone policy, I've drafted an amendment requiring written exemptions. George cut her off. Dr. Carter has the floor first. I stood, channeling the calm I use briefing cabinet members. I'm Dr. Vanessa Carter, and my daughter, Lily, has cystic fibrosis. Last week, she was monitoring her health at the gala when Mrs. Langley took and destroyed her phone, despite knowing its medical necessity. Murmurs spread. Margaret's face stayed stone cold, but her neck flushed. I had VYSE on health policy at the federal level. I continued, locking eyes with the board. I shape laws on medical accessibility and disability rights, the very issues here. Dr. Nguyen explained CF management, likening Lily's phone to a diabetic's glucose monitor. Denying access is dangerous, he said. I laid out the violations: ADA, Fair Housing Act, HIPAA, and federal research protocols, as Lily's phone held trial data. Margaret squirmed as I handed documents to the board. Laura recounted the gala, emphasizing Lily's humiliation. The room's mood shifted. Residents nodded, some glaring at Margaret. When George asked for her response, Margaret stood, hands shaky. I regret seeming harsh, but I was upholding community standards. I didn't know the phone was medical. You were told repeatedly, I said. She snapped. Anyone can claim that without proof. Laura countered. The ADA doesn't require documentation. That's law. Residents chimed in, one saying, I heard you mock her condition. Another added, you stomped on it like it was nothing. George huddled with the board, then announced, we propose reimbursing the Carters, suspending Mrs. Langley from the Rules Committee, and forming a Disability Accommodation Committee. Margaret paled. Suspension? After all I've done? This is one mistake. George was firm. It's a serious error exposing us to liability. You're lucky Dr. Carter isn't suing. The board voted unanimously. Margaret stormed out, papers scattering. Residents apologized, sharing stories of Margaret's past bullying. George asked me to join the new committee, citing my expertise. Dr. Nguyen suggested Lily join a CF teen group to share her story, sparking her idea for a blog. Weeks later, the HOA paid for Lily's phone and donated to the CF Foundation. The committee, with my input, revamped policies, adding accessible features to the clubhouse and pool. Margaret's suspension became permanent as more complaints surfaced. 2 months later, Margaret requested a meeting. At a quiet coffee shop, she looked subdued, no designer armor. I'm sorry, she said. My brother was diagnosed with Parkinson's. I get it now, disabilities aren't always VY-sible. I stayed cautious but nodded. Understanding comes from experience. She mentioned a chronic illness course and asked if Lily would speak to the class. Lily agreed, sharing her CF reality with raw honesty. Margaret listened, asking real questions. It wasn't a fairy tale redemption, but it was a start. She later rejoined the HOA, focusing on health programs. Willow Creek changed. The pool got ramps, the gym added adaptive gear, and the culture embraced inclusion. 6 months later, Lily's app caught a lung infection early, VYing her from hospital stay. At a community forum, her story swayed even the skeptics. Advocacy isn't always lawsuits. Sometimes it's a teen checking her phone, refusing to hide, and a mom who knows community means everyone. What do you think? Was Margaret's apology enough? Or should she have faced harsher consequences? Would you have sued? Or was changing the community the better win? Should HOA rules ever trump medical needs? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe to join the conversation.